Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm Congresswoman Kathy Castor. I'm joined by my colleague, Congressman Rich Nugent, Tampa Mayor Bob Buckhorn, County Commissioner Al Higginbotham, Bob Rohrlach from the Greater Tampa Chamber of Commerce, and Rick Homans from the local EDC. We're here this morning to announce the MacDill Means Mobility campaign. This is a united bipartisan effort to convince the policymakers in Washington and the U.S. Air Force to site the new KC-46 tankers at MacDill Air Force Base. You all know MacDill is currently the home of the 6th Air Mobility Wing. These are the large tanker planes that you see flying over Tampa and Tampa Bay every day. They are the backbone to America's national security because they refuel planes and fighter jets in air to keep America #1 in the world when it comes to our military, and they're working every day to protect the American people. The Air Force has now kicked off a new effort to replace all of the old and aging KC-135 tanker planes. These are planes that were largely constructed when Dwight D. Eisenhower was president. They are old aircraft, but the folks here at MacDill and across the country have done very well in maintaining those aircraft. But now it is time to modernize the fleet. And we think that MacDill Air Force Base is a logical place for some of the new tanker planes to be located. There are no encroachments here at the base. It's largely built on a peninsula. We are the only air tanker base right now in the southeastern United States. This is a patriotic community. We value the personnel here at MacDill Air Force Base. The tanker wing fits very well in with the other missions at MacDill Air Force Base, including Central Command and Special Operations Command. But we've got to raise our profile in Washington and make our arguments to the Air Force and policymakers there. So there's nothing better than a community-led effort, having all of the leaders in this area and business people come together to make that case. This is our kickoff event. Later this week, we'll be meeting with decision makers in Washington, D.C., and also highlighting the strengths of MacDill Air Force Base in a kickoff event there on Capitol Hill. So I'm very pleased to have so much support, bipartisan support, a united region to go up and make our case. One of the most outstanding advocates and colleagues that I have working with me is Congressman Rich Nugent. Congressman Nugent is the former sheriff of Hernando County, and believe me, he understands the importance of all of the brave men and women who are serving our country. Rich, you have 3 sons in the United States military, Isn't that correct? Yeah. So will you please share your thoughts on the importance of winning the tanker planes for MacDill?
Thank you, Kathy. I just want to first thank Representative Castor for allowing me and inviting me to be here in a bipartisan way, reference to MacDill and Mayor Buckhorn. MacDill is a driver as it relates to bringing in commercial enterprise, but also it supports, well outside just Tampa in regards to jobs and economic viability. So as we move forward, and you talked about the KC-135s, I actually flew on a KC-135 back when I was in the Air Force. So it's about time that we update our air refueling wing, but there's no better place than MacDill Means Mobility, because it really does fit well with MacDill's infrastructure and its mission. And so I'm just very proud that Representative Castor has taken on the fight to try to encourage and enlist those in the Air Force, but also other policy decision makers, to relocate the new tankers here at MacDill, because I do believe it is a great opportunity to increase jobs in the Tampa Bay area and in Florida in general. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. And Congressman Nugent is one of our advocates for MacDill Means MacDill means mobility. In addition to Congressman Nugent, Congressman Bill Young from Pinellas, Congressman Gus Bilirakis, Congressman Tom Rooney from the Armed Services Committee, Senator Bill Nelson and Senator Marco Rubio will be joining us in our effort later this week to make our case. In addition to Congressman Dennis Ross from Eastern Hillsborough County and Polk County. But let me tell you, there is no more outspoken advocate for MacDill Air Force Base than Tampa Mayor Bob Buckhorn. Mayor Buckhorn led the charge during the BRAC process some years ago when Sandy Freeman was mayor, so Bob knows how to make the best case. And Bob, you were successful last time, so we're counting on you again to win the day.
Congresswoman Castor, thanks a lot. We couldn't do this without a great delegation in Washington, D.C. I mean, the reason we were successful in 1991, 1993, 1995 was because of strong congressional leadership. That mantle and that torch has been passed to a new generation, and Kathy Castor and Rich Nugent and Bill Young have stood for MacDill in every circumstance. And it is because of their efforts that we are here today. I mean, we were this far away in 1991, as some of you will remember, from being closed. I mean, we were on the list for closure. And because this community rallied and because this delegation and the members that came before these two members stood up for MacDill, they fought for MacDill, they made the case for MacDill, they convinced the leaders that this was a unique base, not only because we are home to Central Command and Special Operations Command, but also because this is a community that honors its military representatives. In those ensuing years, we have won the award for the best base in the Air Force system 2 times. I mean, this is a city that loves its military. And not only that, the facts side with MacDill Air Force Base. We have the capacity here. We have the runway capacity here. We've got the hangar capacity here, although there would be additional construction. We've got the workforce here. We've got the soldiers and the airmen and the sailors and the Marines that are prepared to take on this additional burden. There is no question in this first round of tanker relocation that MacDill Air Force Base should not be the destination for the first round of the new aircraft. But thanks to Congresswoman Castor and Congressman Nugent, who are raising that case and raising our profile in Washington, D.C. Because oftentimes it doesn't matter what the facts say. What matters is that we have articulate spokesmen in the Capitol that are in there fighting for us every day. And I know I couldn't ask for a better partner in Kathy Castor. And when I look north to Hernando County, we have a very new partner and a new friend in the former sheriff. And so we really appreciate that, Rich. And all the folks, the business community that's coming up after me, Commissioner Higginbotham, he has stepped up. We even arranged a flyby for you if you look over there right now. We managed to get
those birds? Oh no, here it comes. Yes,
yeah.
Here we are.
We had a banner trailing behind that said MacDill means mobility, but it must have fallen off somewhere. But Congresswoman Castor, thank you for doing this, and let's go get it done.
That's great. Thanks, Mayor Bob. I really appreciate you taking the time out this week to travel to Washington, D.C. to meet with folks at the Pentagon, the United States Air Force, and then lead our delegation as we welcome policymakers across the Capitol to come see what MacDill is all about. Commissioner Al Higginbotham has been a leader in this community and outspoken on behalf of the personnel at MacDill Air Force Base. And I'm very pleased that he's here today and that he will also be joining us in Washington later this week to make the case for MacDill means mobility. Commissioner?
Thank you, Congresswoman. And this is a community effort. You know, those who wish to do us harm don't care or even know about partisanship. And this is so important, and I'm so proud of you for what you've done and the leadership you've shown, not only in Washington, but understanding the needs and the importance of world security and safety everywhere. And it starts right here. You know, when you look back in history, this is sacred ground. The first industry that was located here was a meat packing factory. I don't know if you knew that. And the abundance of meat they had was rattlesnakes. And so it was a rattlesnake meat pack. And I know some of you are going to watch the way you walk when you go back to your vehicles. But, and that resurged when MacDill was authorized back in the late 30s. And it was the Tampa Tribune headline that said, "We got the big base." Well, the headlines in the papers are going to say, "We got the big tankers," because we know that this is where security starts. And it's important enough to me that I will miss my third commission meeting since taking office over almost 6 years ago. After we have a special agenda item, a resolution that we've drafted, it'll be voted on by my colleagues and signed by the clerk of the court, and then I'm going to go up and join the rest of you and look forward to it. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
And that will be very meaningful, that the entire Hillsborough County Commission, led by Commissioner Higginbotham, will in fact be represented. And I really appreciate the proclamation. It comes at a very important time as we kick off the MacDill Means Mobility campaign. By the end of the summer, it's likely that the United States Air Force will make a decision on the first three bases to win the tankers, but ultimately there will be 10 bases, and we intend to be one of them. We could not do this without the leadership of the business community as well, and it has been outstanding so far, and we're going to call on them over the coming months and years to ensure that MacDill maintains its tanker mission at the base. Bob Rohrlach from the Greater Tampa Chamber of Commerce is here, and Bob, I really appreciate how the business community has stepped up, how they will be with us in Washington this week, making the case to the Air Force and other policymakers. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Congresswoman. MacDill is a huge commerce driver to our community, with almost a $5 billion annual impact to the greater Tampa Bay region. That's why this commerce driver is so important to us. Supporting our military has been something the Chamber has done for a long time, but supporting the commerce driver is also something we continue to do. And when you've got a front line like Congresswoman Castor, Congressman Nugent, Mayor Buckhorn, and Commissioner Higginbotham, you're off to a tremendously strong presence to go with both Washington and here locally. And the business community is firmly behind them with that importance. As a matter of fact, the Greater Tampa Chamber of Commerce Board recognized MacDill and the military presence as one of our top priorities for this year to be working on, and that will just continue into the future. And by doing that, we're going to be showing the support both to our military personnel, the families, and what's going on here, but that commerce driver as well. So we're looking forward to continuing that effort and seeing that support and hearing the new tankers coming in as we support our community. But we applaud the support of our political leadership that's knowing and understanding this importance. So we congratulate those that are here with us and those that weren't able to be here with us for knowing that this is important, not just today, but for our long-term future here in Tampa Bay. And we're glad that you're here. Thank you very much.
Bob. In addition to the Greater Tampa Chamber of Commerce, the Hillsborough County EDC is also supportive. They have been at this for many years. Now is the crucial time, however, because the United States Air Force last month released the criteria that they will examine to measure bases across the country with. They're currently reviewing over 60 Air Force bases. But like we said, MacDill has many advantages, and we intend to maintain Tampa as a tanker town. Would you come forward and tell us about the EDC support? And I really appreciate you being here.
I'm Rick Homans, president of the Economic Development Corporation, and proud to be here with this team. Just want to briefly underline what Bob Rohrlach and everybody else has said about the importance of the military in this community. Also, as one of the top clusters of strategic growth for Tampa Hillsborough County is the defense and security industry, and that stems right from MacDill Air Force Base. One of the things that we're looking forward to is the realignment, the national realignment, and having additional missions such as these tankers here at MacDill will put us in a much better position when that realignment comes around. So we look forward to supporting this effort with everything we've got. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we all agree the future of MacDill Air Force Base is bright. The missions that have been located here, the expansion of Central Command and Special Operations Command, have ensured that we're not at threat of any closures or through a BRAC process. But we've got to play offense now in this economy to bring jobs to the Tampa Bay area, and one of the ways we're going to do that is to win one of the new contracts for these new air refueling tankers. We intend to be very active over the coming months. You can see we have an outstanding team. I'd like to thank them again for being here today. And folks across this community can rest assured that MacDill means mobility, and we're going to keep Tampa as a tanker town. Thank you all very much.